Hi everyone, welcome to Minnie and Me on the Road. This is Minnie, I'm Christy, and thank you for joining us tonight. So, tonight I thought I would share my caravan tips and tricks that I've picked up over the last 18 months. Some you might know, some you might not. And if there's anything else you can think of, you're welcome to leave it in the comments or in the chat box as I'm going, and that would be fantastic. So, first is gas bottles. So, I have two 4 kilo gas bottles, and when one runs out, I now send myself a message, put a sticky note, pull it out of the front of the caravan, anything to remind me to fill it up. It's super easy. Life gets busy and you forget that it's empty. Then a gas bottle runs out in the middle of the night and you don't have any gas left. Something I have learnt. Next is about the tyres on the caravan. So, this is something a lot of people don't know, but the tyres need to be replaced at least every 5 years, maybe more. So, when I bought my caravan, it's a 2014 model, and I took it in to be checked, and all three tyres were older than 5 years. They were probably the originals on the caravan. So I got all three replaced, which included the spare. And the reason you want to do that, and it's quite common in a lot of the camping caravan groups, is you can get a tire blowout and it can do a lot of damage, be very dangerous. So definitely check the age of your tires and how they look. Next is caravan storage. So, as you know, I'm in a very small caravan and mine also has quite a strict weight limit. So, I make sure that I don't carry anything I don't need. A lot of people say that you should always have two uses for everything you carry. The thing that I wanted to mention was that everything needs to have a spot. So when you're traveling on the road, um, you need to put everything away so it doesn't move and break. And when you pull over, you often don't want to have the bed full of stuff. You don't want to have the dining table all full of stuff. I often will pull over for lunch and make something in my caravan. So it's nice to have nice tidy caravan when you pull over. And then other times I'll pull over for the night and stay hitched. And it's lovely to be able to get into the bed without having to move all the stuff off the bed. So everything in my caravan has a spot. And I also have these containers. I have, if you haven't seen the video where I share what's in all my cupboards, I've had containers in all my cupboards, keeps everything in place, makes it easy to pull out and see what's in the cupboards. And after moving, when you open the cupboard, everything doesn't fall on top of you. So that is really handy as well. Hooks. Someone recommended these to me. They just go over the door or little nooks and crannies, and they're fantastic for hanging things on. So I hang towels or wet clothes or bags, all sorts of things on these, and I've got a few floating around, and they are fantastic. And talking about towels, I do have one of these at the front door with a towel on it for Minnie. So when we go out for our walks, it often can be muddy and wet. And when Minnie comes back into the caravan and I take off her lead, the first thing she does is she jumps on my bed. So we have learnt to give her a wipe down, wipe all her paws, wipe her belly every time we go for a walk. So the towel at the front door is super handy. Next, if you don't have wiki camps yet, you definitely need it. So I did a quick Google before this, and it looks like it's currently $9.99. It's an app that you can have on your phone, iPad, tablet, and it is amazing. I live in there. I read the reviews, has all the information, has approximate fees. You can search to find free campsites. You can turn on what's caravan, suitable for caravans. It's got all different filters. You can also keep track of the places that you're staying at, and then it will let you know how many places you've stayed at. For example, I updated mine today, and in the last 18 months, I've been in 75 different places. So it's quite interesting. definitely have a look at Wikicamps if you don't have it. Hot water. So I have a gas and electric hot water system. And when I'm using the gas when I'm off grid, I used to just leave it turned on all the time so that I had hot water all the time. And I found like I was just going through gas really fast. So now what I do is I turn the gas hot water on about 20 to 30 minutes before I need it for a shower or for doing the dishes. So while I'm working in an office, what I do is I turn the hot water on when I go to take Minnie for a walk. When we get back, it's ready for me to have a shower. And then when I'm using the electric hot water when I'm plugged into power, I have had two fuses go in my hot water service. The first one was suggested because of this reason. And what it is you will often plug your Caravan into power, and you might plug it into power before you plug it into water. And so the hot water service is heating without any water in it, and it can blow the fuse in it. So I was told each time I move sites to make sure I turn off the hot water or unplug the hot water. So that's just something else to keep in mind. This isn't specifically related to caravans, but more traveling. I have these two thermoses I got from Harris Scarf on special. This one's for hot water and this one's for food, and they are amazing. So I love supporting cafes in little country towns, and I would often head to different sightseeing things and find that there was no food to eat and get caught out. So now I'll often take my own food, especially if it looks like there's not going to be a cafe around, and they really do keep the food warm. The other thing I've been doing since I've been back in the office is I heat up my food in the morning, put it in the thermos, leave it on the bench, and I only have about 10 minutes when I get back to the caravan, say hello to Minnie and eat my food. And the thermos has the food all ready to go, nice and warm. And yeah, it just works fantastic. Next one is when I hitch the caravan, I always do a last minute check inside to make sure I haven't missed anything. And then I do a last minute walk around the caravan before I take off. I start at the back of the car. I check to make sure I've got my towing mirrors on, and then I follow from the back of the car all the way around the caravan back to the back of the car again. And I'm checking things like the handbrake's off, everything's locked. I saw a guy doing this who was parked next to me at one campsite early on, and he was pulling on all the windows to make sure they were locked. So now I do the same thing. I walk around and pull on all the windows. I touch everything, make sure everything's on tight, and that seems to be working really well. I also, whenever I pull over, maybe I'm filling up with water, maybe we're stopping for lunch, I do the same thing again. Before we take off, I walk around the caravan, make sure I haven't left anything open, check everything's locked, and I haven't forgotten something. For lunch, sometimes I'll turn the gas on so I can make a cup of coffee. So I always make sure that I leave the front boot unlocked or up so that I don't forget to turn the gas off again before we leave. The next thing is to keep all your $1 and $2 coins for the laundromats. So often you'll go to a laundromat and they don't have card to pay for it, EFTPOS. They only have coins and they don't have any change machine there. So, and it's hard sometimes to ask in shops, they don't like giving change. So definitely keep all your $1 and $2 coins. I normally always try to make sure I have about $20 in ones and twos. I don't have any at the moment, so I definitely need to sort that out. But thankfully, the laundromats in the local area use EFTPOS. Ones and $2 coins, super important. I only discovered today, I don't know why I haven't thought about it before, but when I put my clothes on the coat hangers to dry or to hang up, stop them getting creased, they often fall off. So today I decided to use my clothes pegs to attach them to the clothes hanger, and they stayed on, and they even stayed hanging while I drove 40 minutes. So there's something I discovered today. No idea why it only came today, but there you go. I have one of these. It's a little level. A lot of people have them towing caravans, and it's really fantastic to try and get the caravan level. Every time you move sites, it's different. The reason this is so important, well, on the weekend, my head was lower than my feet because I was hitched and there wasn't much I could do about that. But that's one reason you want to get the level correct, is so that your head's a little bit higher than your feet or the same. But the other reason is the shower. So if you've got a toilet shower combo like I do, you don't want the floor wet when you're going to the toilet. So to get the level correct, you want in my caravan, I need the front up a little bit, just the tiniest bit, and I need it leaning to the right just a tiny bit as well, so that the water will drain correctly. In the whole time I've been doing it, I have only succeeded in doing that a couple of times. I've tried really hard today. We've just moved sites, so we'll see tomorrow morning how I go. The reason is it actually takes quite a long time. I've got a little squeegee in there now to squeegee all the water down the drain. If I don't get it right, it takes a really long time to get all the water down that tiny little hole. And then I wipe it with a towel. So, bit of fun trying to get that right. Something to keep in mind. If you haven't seen my other video, I have one where I discuss the kick-ass portable shower. So I use this for transferring water from I've got 3 20-litre jerry cans I carry full in the car. And this is fantastic portable shower. It transfers the water from the jerry cans into the caravan without me trying to tip it in. I did have another brand, and I only used it a few times and it stopped working. And when I took it back to get it repaired under warranty, not repaired, but replaced under warranty, I was told just to get my money back because I've had a lot of complaints that it wasn't reliable. But the kick-ass shower I've been using now for 6 to 12 months, and I probably use it once or twice a week, and it's still going really well. So that's been fantastic. I have these. I don't know whether you've seen these before, but they are screw-in pegs. They were recommended to me and they're fantastic. So I use them for the pegs on my awning to stop the awning blowing away. I also use them for my solar blanket, which has things to stand it up, and it stops the solar blanket from blowing over. And I also use it, I've got a portable clothesline, which is fantastic, and I use it to keep them up as well. And you use a drill to screw the pegs in, use a drill to pull the pegs out again, and they generally stay in, don't move. The only time they tend to move is when the ground is soggy, wet. I have had a couple pull out in that situation. Then I've got 2 more things. The second last thing was occasionally when I've gone to unhitch the caravan from the car, when I've been winding the jockey wheel up to take it off, the caravan wouldn't come off the car, and it didn't matter how much I tried, I couldn't work out why. And so I asked in the Adria Facebook group, and they suggested either moving the car back a bit or forward a little bit. And when I arrived at this side, I had to do exactly that. I tried to take the caravan off the car. It wouldn't come off, just started lifting the car up. So jumped in the car, reversed it just the tiniest bit, and then the caravan would come off the tow ball. So something to keep in mind if you ever have that problem. I have it happen every now and then. And then lastly, something that I do is I have a calendar. And what I do, you probably won't be able to see, but those 3 things written on it for this month are when I arrive and depart my sites. So I've been on the road now over 18 months. And like I said, there's been about 75 different spots. If anyone asked me during that time where I was at a certain point, date-wise, I would have no idea. So I keep it all on a calendar so that I know what dates I was at certain places, and it's super valuable for me. And leading into that is I do have a calendar that I'm selling, pre-orders, which I am looking at placing an order in the next week or so. And it's of my time in Tasmania, about 14 photos from my time in Tasmania, $25 including postage. And I have my sample arriving Tuesday, so I'm super excited to check it out and make sure it's all okay before I place the order. But if you are interested, just leave a comment and I can get back to you how to place that order. Thank you again. Does anyone have any questions about any of those tips or tricks? Otherwise, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining Minnie and me, and have a lovely night.